Hello to those of you that are just joining us in this virtual space. I'm Tanika Howard, founder of Lead Her, a healthy lifestyle brand for young women designed to build confidence through self-actualization of their natural gifts and talents so they may make healthy lifestyle decisions. So some of you, this is your first time joining me, so let me define what a lead her is. A lead her is a young woman of influence who grounds herself in values based on faith, fitness, relationship, and career principles. So my job as a lead her is not only to coach and mentor young women to greatness, but also highlight them and start conversations that are relevant and timely and can be used in building their foundation based on faith, fitness, relationship, and career principles. So today I'm super excited to talk about something that I think that I'm qualified to speak on because it's occurred 11 times in the span of my 20-year career. But of those 11 times, I've had the privilege of owning real estate in on three separate occasions in three separate states in three unique ways. So let's get into her conversation where we're going to be going in on the real in real estate. So at the beginning of 2020, I don't think anyone could have predicted what the world was going to be like in the pandemic that we're going through right now. We've been shaken up quite a bit, from businesses shutting down to people going into furloughs, and just life as we know it is somewhat as a halt. So there's times I can admit that I was a little nervous about going through a major transition and a shift in my own life, which was going to include a relocation. And right now, it was a little bit difficult. I was trying to figure out where was I going, and what was the market going to look like, and how was I going to be able to relocate without a lot of hiccups. So I will tell you that it was the power of social media that got me through that major transition, because I'm sitting in my home right now having this conversation for other young leaders to go ahead and go out there and own their own homes. So let me go ahead and bring into the virtual space two people that I have to admit I have never physically met them, but they helped me through this transition and into my new home right now and without delays. So let me bring it to the virtual space. Realtor and broker in charge, Miss Renee King, and agency owner at the Price Insurance Services, Mr. Steve Price.
Hi.
Hey y'all, how are y'all?
We're great. How you doing? Well, I'm great. How are you, Steve?
Wait, let's.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You guys don't understand that I've never physically met these two, but they are so much fun. And so before I brought you guys into the virtual space, I told everyone that was watching us about the power of social media and how it brought us together. So real quickly, I'm going to paint the picture for everybody, because back in April, I was on LinkedIn and I was making some connections because I was moving here to the North Carolina area, and from one connection to the next, I was just making connections every day. And so Renee popped up on as someone I should know on LinkedIn. And I was like, okay, she's a realtor. Okay, I need one of those. But I don't know her personally. And so as a side note, it doesn't cost anything to hit the connect button to just virtually get to know someone. So I said, I went ahead and hit that connection button and I started following Renee. And so I started watching her post and I was like, okay, she's someone that I think I could probably reference in the future. I'm not sure because I don't really know her. And so I'm always skeptical about doing business with people that I meet on social media because you just never know. It's kind of a mixed bag. It's a toss up. And so, but I was watching Renee, and your posts were about education. And during this scary time, a lot of people could have been like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I need business, business, business. I need clients. I just need the sale. But your post, it was like you slowed down a little bit and you wanted to educate us. You wanted to give us some of the information about the market at the time, what we were going through, and how it is possible to go ahead and own real estate during COVID. So, I continued to watch you, and then one day I just hit you. I sent you a message and I said, "Hey Renee, do you have time to talk or whatever?" And I said, "Let's go ahead and virtually meet." And we set up that Zoom call. So from that one Zoom call, here we are. And so, um, real quick, I want you to talk to everyone about what is it that Renee King does that's so different from what other real estate agents do? Because I've had three different experiences, so and all three are different. But I'll tell you, yours is special. It's very much different in the way that you do things. So go ahead and tell everybody what sets you apart.
Well, thank you very much for that. I think initially that's how I do business mostly. Most of my business comes from social media. Education is really huge in real estate. Nobody knows how to shift their business when a pandemic comes because I've never experienced that. But I didn't actually focus on the pandemic because people still need to have some place to stay. So with doing real estate, I always lead with my heart and the goals that other people have. So you came to me because you wanted to purchase a home. You had that idea before I even knew who you were. So I need to focus on your needs at the time. I didn't need to focus on COVID, the things that are going on around me, but I need to focus on what you actually wanted was a home. And what made me excited to work with you is I am a military relocation specialist, and I saw that you were a part of the military, and through conversation, it came up that you were retiring. So I wanted to tap into that and just expand my business. When you said you wanted to purchase in Raleigh, well, that was a new market for me. I hadn't been there yet, but it wouldn't have stopped me from being able to assist you. So I love that you trusted me in a different market, and to meet you in person, that was great because we were able to seal that. Just from conversation and having that Zoom meeting, it allowed me to connect with you. And that's what social media is about. You connected with me before I knew who you were. You saw something in me. And through our Zoom conversation, you shared your goals and what you needed. And then I immediately went to work. Say, okay, this is the date that we're going to meet. Then this is what we need to do. So I wanted to make it a seamless process because I know that you had a lot going on and moving your family, uprooting them, and just changing your whole dynamic. You have a new career. You're civilian like me. So I'm like, okay, let me try to help paint the picture for her. And the biggest thing was just starting. I needed to meet you because I can find you a home. So that was determination to meet you and just say, okay, we're not going to waste time. Let's get to business. This is what she wants. You're very direct and straightforward. You definitely know exactly what it is that you're looking for. So it was my goal to accomplish that. And that's what we did.
Yeah, I think it was that period between our first initial conversation, which was back in like April or so, and then we didn't eventually meet until it was like the first week in June or so. And so I think that those conversations really did help us when we got down here to Raleigh to even start looking at properties. And this is the first time I've ever bought on the second look. Like this is the second home that we looked at. I think that you hit the nail on the head when you got to know me. So you knew what I was looking for. You anticipated things that could have happened. So you were like, okay, let's go see this one. And then when things kind of it was the right builder, but not the right home, not the right location. So we did that pivot and we came over here and boom, it was the second home. So I like that about you, that you were kind of like, okay, yeah, let's go take a look at that because I think that's what you needed. But another thing that I was very much impressed with you about was the fact that you wanted to educate me. In educating me, you had to educate yourself. You were very transparent about that. Like, this is new territory for me. Raleigh was not your main location. However, you were willing to learn the market, build relationships, and be able to navigate as if you own the place, as if you own this whole territory. And I love that about you, Renee. You have a confidence in you that you're able to, hey, it's all about my client. It's not about me, it's about my client. So so when we talk about, because we're still in COVID right now. So when we talk about educating, where do you see the market at right now?
Right now, what I tell buyers that are coming to me, just inquiring, how is the market? The market is great. I have actually been doing more business now than ever. I think what I'm seeing on the seller side is that sellers are forced to stay in their home due to, being in phase two. We're not able to actively get out as much and there's not much to do. So when you're forced to stay in a space that you normally would be 8 hours away from, you're like, okay, I don't like the space as much. Like, it's just not, it's comfortable. So I get sellers calling looking to sell, and I get buyers looking to buy. So those two conversations are very different because my buyers are really eager to get out and look, but we have to have inventory. So when I don't see the homes on the market that are inventory based on a resale or a new construction, I start focusing on more of what exactly is different between the new construction home or the resale home. But the client is, are you ready right now? And if you are ready right now, then we might have to look at things that are available on the market at that time. And the interest rates that come along with that, I mean, getting more home for the money is where I really focus in on with the buyers. A lot of people want to pay less for more. And so I look at the initial inventory. If it's going to cost you the same amount to spend for a resale versus a new construction, I would ask you the difference. What are you investing? What are you willing to gain, and what are you willing to lose? Because there's an up and a down for both. Time might not be of the essence for you. For you, you needed something right now. So your timeline was you wanted to be situated in your space by the time, school started for your son and for you personally. So you start looking at what's available at the time. And the availability for you was, okay, let's look at these homes because they're brand new. We didn't have the opportunity for time to kind of go back and forth and looking around because it was going to require more time. And you're not being in the area, and I wasn't in the immediate area. So I focused more so on the new construction because I felt like that was a more seamless process. You didn't have to invest a whole lot of money up front, so low cost. That was mainly the focus. But the market, going back to what you initially asked, the market right now is perfect because I'm actually getting interest rates very, very low. With you, the VA, I think we're getting maybe like 2.2% now. I've seen some that are really low, and I've seen just regular commercial. Not commercial, but conventional and FHA around the 3.1s, early threes. So that's unheard of. And for us to go through a pandemic like that, if you're in a position to purchase, now is the time.
Yeah, I personally think that now is the time. I'm like, homes are going, the for sale sign is up and the sold sign is coming immediately. So I know that the market is hot, and I know that there's people out there that are probably still nervous, like, oh my gosh, what may happen? Well, you can't think like that because in November, these rates may not be the same. And I've been reading up on that, things that could happen based on the election or whatever the case. I mean, we have to be cognizant of that. So if you're in the market to buy, probably right now is probably the hottest time to do that, like you said. I won't touch on the lending process too much. That's a whole different ball of wax when we start talking about the lending process. But I do want to educate folks on what are some things, just if you had to, off the top of your head, 3 things that you would tell potential home buyers, hey, as far as the lending, these are the 3 things that you need to have squared away up front.
Okay, up front, you have to make sure that, for one, you have your credit in order before we start applying for the loan itself. Then you think, okay, you have credit. You say, I have a 750. I said, okay, that's great. But then you also have to have upfront money to cover upfront costs. So then if you have that, then we can move forward. Okay, and then I need to know what your time frame is. Those 3 things make a big difference because you might need to apply later. You don't need to apply right now. So the time that you might need to save, if you don't have upfront costs, we need to do that. And if, for instance, you didn't have a 750 and we had maybe a 600, most lenders do require you to have at least a 620 credit score to start the process. So the biggest things are credit, money, and timing. And
So you guys heard it.
Mhm.
Credit, money, and timing. I think that I had two of the three. I had credit, I had money. The time I was at a crunch for my for the time, and we can. I think that me and you can attest to the money piece. There are unexpected things that just pop up, and you may be thinking one thing, and at the last minute, what was it? 40? Was it even 48 hours? I think it was like 24 hours, and I had to do some things. Like I had to write a check that I didn't want to. And in the end, it all worked out. But I needed to have that money in order to make that close happen on that particular day. So you definitely need your credit, your money, and your time together.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Bring Steve in real quick. Now relationships are everything. I have a long-standing relationship with a all-encompassing financial, insurance, banking, all of that good stuff needs company. And usually that's my first go-to when it comes to when someone says, "Hey, I need your insurance information." That's where I go to first. But this time it was a referral from Renee that said, "Hey, let me check with this person right here. Let me check with Steve Price." And I was like, okay, I don't know who Steve Price is. I have a company. I got a guy. And me saying, okay, I got a guy. Renee was like, she was insistent. I have a relationship with him. I know him. I've done business with him in the past. Let me just see. Again, people, it costs you nothing to get an estimate. So, Steve, tell us a little bit about your company. Price Insurance Services.
My name is Steve Price with Price Insurance Services. I am a broker through Goosehead Insurance. So what that means is we work with 25 different insurance carriers to try to find the client the best actual fit when it comes to insurance. So in that process, it is still based on you personally. You know, your credit does play a big part. The location of the home, where you need flood insurance, and just knowing who that buyer is. You know, do you care about the name or do you care about the coverage? You know, that's more important question that you need to find out what the person is actually looking for in the process. So it's still client-based and being able to provide the client with different avenues of insurance, you know, because there's a lot of companies out here that can provide great coverage, but you probably haven't seen commercials for them. So that's where I come in and I kind of walk you through that process of showing you basically there are several companies out here that can provide you the coverage you need and the protection you need for your asset.
Yeah, that's so insurance is one of those things when they say, "Hey, you got to have insurance." It's not something that you really talk about at the beginning of the process. It's something that just has to happen, right? So it's just an action. It's not an experience. And I'm all about an experience, right? And so I was like, that was one thing. Again, the education piece of it all, of telling me again, I've bought three different homes, and I've never had the experience with the insurance part. It's something that I had to do. You got to have an underwriter, but it's not something I really know about. And it's not something I've ever called and used either. So it's just one of those things like you got to have it. It's in the back of your mind. I'm protected, but what goes into it, right?
Absolutely.
So at this point, how can you explain to me real quickly, like between the different rates? So my home hasn't changed. The type of home hasn't changed. Location didn't change. My credit score didn't change. But why is it that different companies like have different rates? Like my company that I have a 15-year relationship with gave me one quote, which was a little bit higher than what, it was quite a significant difference between their quote and your quote. So can you tell us what is the difference in those fluctuating rates?
Well, it's based on you. Like you were saying, you haven't had any issues. So your rate's going to be kind of sort of the same no matter where you go. And the price may change based on the company name. But I say if you have a background where you make a lot of claims or you may have flood claims, then companies are going to take that into each situation, and your premium will be based on your prior history, insurance history. So it also is individual based on you and your history.
Gotcha. Okay. So insurance. A lot of people, they don't think about insurance. Insurance as a whole, all encompassing, like from health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, so many just in case things out there. That's what I call insurance, is the just in case thing. But I mean, so real quick, like how important is it in general, to have insurance? Why is it so important? And is it important now as it was maybe a year ago? Is it more important now than back in maybe a year or two ago?
I think it's always been important, but you look at things now. I mean, insurance is for peace of mind. That's what it's for. And you hope that you never have to use the actual insurance. But should you need to use that insurance, you want to make sure that you're confident that you have adequate coverage. Now, as far as you think about the other day in Charlotte, we had an earthquake. Most people will not have earthquake coverage if you're not in the earthquake zone. But you have to think about that. Like, do you want to actually be prepared for something like that? Yes, you may have to pay for something you never need. But if your house is destroyed in an earthquake and you don't have earthquake coverage, then, that's a problem. That's an issue. So insurance is for, you want it to be there when you need it, and when you don't need it, you just want to make sure you have the adequate coverage.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Earthquakes, no one can predict those, and who knew Charlotte was going to get an earthquake, right?
Yeah, exactly. So most people will not have earthquake coverage,
Right. So, I mean, it's good to have someone advising you along the way that tells you, like, hey, I think that you should probably have this. It's a small drop in the bucket for what could potentially happen if something happened. Yeah, you're investing in your own peace of mind. So I like that, Steve. So now I want to talk about the experience, because although I think overall we had a few hiccups along the way, Renee, we talked about that last minute thing that happened at the end, less than 24 hours before closing. But experience is everything with me. When I give referrals, I like to tell people, hey, I had this experience. I want to take them on a journey of how I felt when I worked with this person, because I want you to feel the same way. And Steve, I know, although our experience was very minimal, we had an experience as well, because I think it was less than 48 hours from closing, and the underwriter was asking me about another document, some type of insurance document. I had no clue what it was, but I'm one of those tech savvy folks that I want to try and tinker around and see if I can get it, because I work late at night and no one is open at 2 a.m. when I'm reading my emails and I need to provide somebody something. But I'll tell you, I was able to go onto your website. I referenced one of the links that I had, and I got the information that I needed. But it was all about the next morning. It was around 8 o'clock in the morning or so, and I got a phone call from you, and you said, hey, I saw that you were on, that you requested some documentation. Did you get what you needed? And I was like, I think I did. And you wanted to make sure. I said, well, I sent it to the underwriter. I think I got exactly what I needed. But it was in that moment you were like, well, hold on. Let me just make sure. I think I already sent this information, but I'm going to send it again, and I'm going to make sure that you have a copy of it as well. Because you wanted to make sure you knew that it was important to me to make sure that everything was smoothly. And as an entrepreneur and as a business owner and as the head of your company, you wanted to make sure that your reputation and that experience was a stellar experience that I had. Even if it's minimal, you wanted to make sure that your piece was taken care of. And I can appreciate that. So tell everybody what they can expect when a new client does business with Price Insurance Company?
Okay. Well, first off, you should expect excellent customer service. You know, we all are consumers, and you want to know that your dollar counts and your everything about you is personal and worth it to your time. So just expect the highest treatment you should receive when you're spending your money and time to invest in someone's business like mine, who's an entrepreneur. I have to make sure I give you everything you deserve and more to make sure that basically you think of me whenever you have any insurance questions.
Yeah, I definitely, when someone in the Triad area talks about insurance needs, you're definitely top of the mind when we talk about that. I'm sold on you and your customer service and your business practice and just how the engagement as a whole. I can appreciate that. From one entrepreneur to another, I can appreciate that because customer service is everything, and it's the foundation for building relationships.
Absolutely.
So Renee, you definitely created an experience for me on closing day. Because, oh my goodness, I think it was like the madness started probably around what was like 9 o'clock the night before.
Oh my gosh.
I was on like 50. So the nice calm Tanika that we know went to that is not who you
Yeah.
in that moment. But it all came down to we've come this far, we've done all this work, we've provided everything, and now it's not my fault, it's not your fault. Somebody is not doing their job. And so you made sure that from the time I left my hotel room that morning to go to closing, you ensured that everything was smooth sailing. That when I walked in and I was already, I think I maybe come down to like a 9 from a 15. I was, you made sure that everything was in order. You made sure that that room, there was a positive aura coming off of it, and that it was happy vibes and a good feeling for me and my son as I closed and signed those documents that day. And then afterwards, like, you created a whole nother experience because after we signed the paperwork, we had lunch. And then we did some shopping. We even you helped me make this purchase on this nice comfy chair that has become my favorite piece in the home because it's the only piece in the home right now. You helped me pick that out because you knew already what my home looked like, and it deserved something custom. It deserved something brand new. And it didn't stop there. So tell all those new potential clients that you're about to get. Tell them what they can expect when they're with Renee King.
Gotcha. Thank you very much again for recognizing that. Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes in on closing day. Our situation was different. The things were out of both of our control, but the drive for me is, again, my client. I wanted to make sure that I put the expectation out there, mainly because I want you to feel that it is about you, and everything from start to finish needs to be as seamlessly as possible. That was initially my whole thought for closing. And by getting on the phone and having that additional conversation, setting those expectations of what I expect for our closing experience to be, because that was our first time. And I know you closed other times, and I didn't want any issues at all. So initially, before I made a plan for our closing, I knew that I wanted to spend time with you. You didn't have immediate, support there. So I said, okay, I'm going to come down a couple of days before. We're going to spend time. That allowed me to get to know you. I also got to participate in the celebration of your son's, birthday, which is great. But I wanted to spend time just connecting because I knew that you were going to need some more additional support after getting into your home. So everything that I do, it's not a blanket. I don't have a script for everybody that I work with. It's about your unique need. So my plans for doing certain things is as open as you are to receive them. I have to base what I do based on your availability. So we set the tone, and going to we went shopping, we went to furniture stores, we went to Lowe's, We looked at lighting. I mean, we picked out a lot of things, but all of that's fun for me, and I knew the look that you wanted because of conversation. But anytime you talk about purchasing a home and adding more of you in there, I wanted to make sure that we added Tanika, because at that point the house was very stale. There was nothing, no character in it. So I'm like, okay, we have to go and do something. And I wanted to leave you with that because you have a whole entire home to purchase, to decorate. And just the experience with me is I do design as well. That's another part of me. Anything that's creative, I like to leave my signature somewhere. Having that additional time there, I think, allowed us to connect even more because you had to trust my judgment as well and agree to the things that I actually saw in your home before you even had the idea. That's just a part of the process. It's a part of what I do. I want to have, a say so on some of the things that you choose, especially if you don't have a design idea. I think you were saying, I don't do this. This is not my thing. It doesn't have to be your thing with me. I will sit there and we'll listen and we'll figure it out together so you'll feel comfortable in your new space.
Yes, I am not the decorating person. I have some ideas, but the timepiece, you already, because you have relationship and that's your jam, right? Because like what stores have what items. I have ideas. Like I can put like 1,000 ideas together and then I have to slowly kind of bring it in together. But you definitely knew where I was going and you're like, okay, this is what you need. Especially you were spot on about the lighting. I was like, who knew that putting some lights in a home could make the space look so much different? Like, who knew that? I've never done that before in any of the homes that I've had before. So that was amazing input and advisement from you that you told me, hey, you have to do this. Paint, like that. I knew that I wanted to get rid of the white, but you made sure that, hey, this is a color that's going to complement anything that's in your home. Mm-hmm. And you had the reference point. You showed me. You didn't just tell me as if you're trying to make this into your home. You gave me reference points to say, oh, that's the color that I was talking about, and see how it agrees with that color palette or that piece of furniture or whatever the case. So shout out to Agreeable Gray, which is my favorite color.
Right.
Man, yes. I'm like, I could talk to y'all all day long. Like we have had so much fun during this process, like getting to know y'all. And I can't wait to get to the Queen City so I can come and hang out in y'all city. Renee, you've come to my city, and we still have a lot more hanging out to do. But I got to come to the Queen City because there is so much to do there. So I'm hearing, and I'm not too far away. So I feel like I need to come to the Queen City because I owe you both a huge socially distant hug for all the work that you have done to get me to this place right now. But I got to tell you both, like, our time is winding down. Thank you so much. There's not enough thank yous in the world that I could give both of you. But what I can do is I can help promote you and elevate you guys to greatness and to where I know that you can be. Because I want you guys to be the go-to realtor, broker in charge, and insurance company that gets all of the business in the Greensboro, Raleigh, South Carolina. It's a lot of territory that you guys both cover. But let the people know where they can find you both at. Steve, you tell everybody where they can find you at.
It would be Goosehead Steve Price on Facebook, and I also have my website. But you can just go to goosehead.com and put in my name, Steve Price, and it'll send you directly to my website.
Gotcha. Steve, the Queen City is very well taken care of when there is a king out there like you taking care of it. I salute you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining me. I am so happy. This is not the last conversation that we will have because I'm going to hit you up from time to time and ask you how I can maximize on my insurance and get something out of it. You can further educate me on my investment. Thank you again, Steve. So Miss Renee, Miss
Yeah.
Renee, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for encouraging me, for laughing with me, for just putting up with me, and talking me off the verbal edge a few times. You definitely embody all of the qualities that a lead her has, and I could not have picked a better realtor or broker in charge to help me find my new home and to help me and my son and my doggy Sam to relocate to this new area. It's starting to thunder a little bit, so he's a little nervous. Um, but I told you there is so much for you, and I know that there's something greater out there for you. I've already told you what I saw for you, Miss King. But I know it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see it because I'm going to be around, and I'm going to try and reap the benefits of all that you have to come to get my new home decorated and properly put together.
Right.
I salute you as well. Thank you so much for being an amazing leader, an amazing champion for women, and a great support for our military families out there. Thank you so much for that. And you're not just a military family support system, but you support so many areas. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
Yeah. Well, you can definitely find me on social media. I'm very active every day. So that's part of my daily routine. I wake up to it, I spend lunch with it, and I eat dinner with it. Mainly because all of my clients are out there. And that's the best way, especially now during COVID, to get me out there, the exposure to show people what I'm doing. I post pictures of things that I'm doing all the time, whether I'm working out, whether I'm, out looking at property with my clients or building a new home. So you always be able to see the different status and where I'm at. So it's definitely going to be real estate related. I am on LinkedIn. I'm at Renee King Realtor on that platform. On Instagram, I am reneeking.realtor. And on Facebook, you can find me at Renee King. And I mainly use my name mainly because that's what is never going to change. And I have a business name, but I haven't presented it yet. So stay tuned for that. I actually just want everyone to be able to connect with me on where you're at. So hit me up, have a question. No question is too, dumb or stupid. Feel free to ask me anything. If you're not looking for a year from now, I still have information to share with you to get you ready to purchase a home. No better time than now, but I'll be here.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Renee and Steve, for joining me today. I'm always excited to talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and leaders in the community that are doing amazing things and helping people to achieve better and go after greatness. So thank you so much for helping to build that foundation for folks out there today in regards to building relationships and getting real in real estate. So my time is up today, but I want to ask, are you following the Lead Her? So if you're not following me, follow me at LeadHer10 on Instagram and at Facebook. And remember to sign up for my communication is currency masterclass, where I'm going to give you, I'm going to help you learn how to communicate, learn your communication style and how to speak the language of those around you, so that when you go to close that deal, you can go out there and you can get that money. So I want to give a special shout out and thank you to brand strategist and content creator, the Network King, Brandon Alexander, for today's production. If you like the production, all of the pictures going up and all of the banners going around and all of that stuff, the crazy transitions, if you like that, hit Brandon up on Instagram at the Network King. And so my last thought before I go, having a realtor is the key to unlocking your dream home. Renee King says it best in her logo. But when you go out there looking for your dream home, make sure that you are wearing your mask, washing your hands, and socially distancing. We'll see you soon, and thank you for joining me. Peace.